All right, welcome back from the episode of Carnivore Trade. Today is Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. If you're not done so already, give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Anyways, here into the market. So a little bit of a soft start to the week for the spiders. We had a little micro gap up into that 394 area. So that was your resistance there. We kind of broke down from that zone on Friday. And then we had a little fade, and then a little kind of basically just a short covering rally. And this market's starting to get reminiscent of really like early, I should say, yeah, April to May, and even kind of like March a little bit of earlier this year, where we had a short covering rally, nice V shape there, and then every bull flag just failed in that time. Every intraday bull flag failed. In that time frame, if we look on this daily, it was like every single one of these, not that you can see it here, but every time we would have a bull flag intraday, it would just roll over and fail, roll over and fail, roll over and fail. And we're starting to get kind of back into that environment. I've noticed, if you take a look here, we even use the hourly on the spiders. Every time we've tried to rally up, it's been sell the rip, sell the rip, sell the rip. Tried to rally there, we tried to rally here, and it's just been rollover. The gap up Friday, the bears slammed the door shut on Friday with that 50 moving average rejection. That said, near term, meaning next 3 to 5 days or so at least, there's still a ton. I think the risk is to the upside, so I'll put it that way. There's still a ton of weekly chart support here at 390 on the spiders and at the 293 area on the Qs. We'll cover that in a second, but you had 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks before you broke out here. And 3 weeks down, a little oversold here on the weekly. I gotta think there's some type of bounce, unless we get a panic event, some type of black swan. It's going to take a lot more for us to cut through that level, especially given that we've already been down the last 3 weeks going into this. We're already a little stretched and oversold. I just think that there's a lot more support here, and it's going to take some more backing and filling. Doesn't mean we're going to bounce, and go up to 410. But my guess is we probably chop around between 402 here on the SPY and 388 for the next couple of days, maybe even the next week. But I do think it's going to take some backing and filling here to get through that level. Now I'm still expecting it to break, but overall, again, we're very close to support, and we're farther away from resistance than we are to support. And I just see, this oversold condition. The Qs are still holding that 618 there. Yes, the bears did push us below 394 again, but another way of looking at that is, they've tried to get us through 390 for the last 3 days, and they've been unsuccessful in that. So I think just at this point, sellers are a little tired, and we're probably due for some type of a bounce here. We'll just kind of leave it at that. And there's some other things here too that kind of point to relative strength. Take a look at ARK today. This is a good gauge of risk. I always like looking at ARK for risk, and this actually held up really well intraday. It's nothing major, but this holding up intraday is a minor sign of strength, sign of risk on. Take a look at Tesla, poster child for risk on. This held up really well today. In fact, if we look at the Tesla daily, this is definitely outperforming the market. And not a terrible little bounce pattern there set up. Max upside's probably to this trend line here, which, that would take you basically back to this head and shoulder neckline. And this should still play out to target. So there's your neckline there. This should still play out to target, which is around 255, 258. But overall, doesn't mean we can't bounce here in the near term. This is a really good, I like this pattern here for a bounce on Tesla. I'll put it like that. Another thing that shows a little bit of strength here is take a look at the dollar index. So made a new 20-year high again today, getting all the way up to 110.55. The dollar is up 67 basis points, and the 10-year up 4.6%. You'd think that the spiders would be down 2%, right? And they're down 40 base, not even down 0.5%. So a little bit of relative strength. And yields surged today. Take a look at the 30-year here. New highs on the 30-year as well. So up over 4% again. This actually, I think yields are eventually going to go higher, but I actually think right now this is almost attractive. If we gapped up tomorrow, I might even consider putting on a TBT, a short TBT actually, or a long TLT position or something of that nature. I think there's still a ton of monthly chart resistance here. on bond yields. Just, look at all this here, and we're still, this isn't, to me, this isn't enough backing and filling here. There's not enough backing and filling done. Same thing on the 10-year. I still think there's a lot up here. I could be wrong. I mean, that's a really strong month there for August in bond yields. Then we did gap up here, but overall, I just don't think it's quite ready to break out just yet. But bigger picture, though, the point is, considering the move in yields today, considering the move in the dollar today, the spider has actually held up pretty well. And, again, these risk names like ARK and so on and so forth, Tesla, seeing some money flow. We do have Jerome Powell speaking Thursday. We have the Apple event, I believe, tomorrow. So there's some market moving things here. And, I always like it when you're oversold going into a big event, an Apple event or Powell speaking, that increases the chances of a bounce. Likewise, if you're overbought going into that event, it's increases the chance of a pullback or a sell-off here, like we were kind of, we priced in this super dovish Fed in the month of July, August, and then, we tried to, pop again, and then we got a hawkish Fed. So that gave us a pretty good sell-off. So either way, big picture, we're still headed lower here on the spiders and pretty much across the board, if you ask me. But near-term risk does seem to be to the upside. So I do think we'll probably get some type of relief here moving forward. But again, we'll just take it one day at a time. Not heavy volume here, average volume on the day. Pretty good battle there for the spiders there. I mean, we're stuck between that 394 area and really that 388 zone. As long as we chop in there, we'll probably see some theta burn. But if we get out above that 394 area, that does open the door for a move back up to 400. Below 388, 387, you probably come down to this gap fill, and then you have a gap fill here, which really kind of coincides with the 7.5. So there's your 7.5 retrace and gap fill. So that would be your area on the downside. Again, I don't think we get there just yet. I think we're just too oversold, and positioning suggests we should get some type of a bounce, even if it just ends up in a bear flag. Anyways, guys, let's look at some sectors here. So semis. Again, really, it's all about NVIDIA right now. I do think NVIDIA's, if you're super aggressive, this is attractive as a long. You just put a stop below 132.70 and tight stop. You got a good risk up to 150, 152, somewhere in that area. The only reason I don't have it is because it just isn't showing me anything intraday. I mean, this is pretty soft here, but it is holding the lows. So, I mean, it's a good risk reward if you want to take that. AMD kind of holding up as well. Basically closed right on that tail there. But the semis did manage to scratch a gain, or I shouldn't say a gain, but scratch above that tail low there. And there's still good daily chart support in this area. So there's a good chance the semis do get a bounce here, but showing a little bit of weakness here in the short term. IGV looks just like the semis here. Still holding that 275 area that I gave you guys last week. So it's just kind of hanging in there. Again, basically the same chart, just holding that tail low from last Thursday. XBI here, looking to fill this gap here. So that is at 80.98. The low of the day was, we basically closed right at the lows of the day, 81.16. So about, just over 20 cents, or just about 20 cents away from that gap fill. And again, kind of this make-believe line that I have drawn in here. There's support in that area, and then the 100 moving average as well. But XBI getting hit a little bit harder than the rest of the market today. Dow Transports, again, still stuck into this 13.6 area. It did bounce off of that if we take a look on the intraday. It's basically hanging into that level. You still made a lower low earlier this morning, and then kind of a higher low, and kind of a little bit of a bullish inside bar into the close. So we'll see if we can get some sort of momentum going tomorrow, but overall it's basically just hanging on to this level. Looks just like the spiders here, just that same area there, that 390 area really just coincides with that same level on the transports. We talked about yields already, but TNX there obviously having a huge move today. Again, still resistance at that upper trend line, and then TYX here. I think, again, if this gaps up tomorrow, it does look kind of attractive for a short, but it's a tough trade. Yields are really strong right now, and we definitely got to respect that. HYG did not make new lows today, so it held that move from last Thursday, and really just kind of into this pivot here. But what can you say? If this holds up, the market will hold up, and vice versa. Not really too much to make out of today's action. Home builders, same kind of deal. So right into that June 13th area, same as that 390 area there on the SPY there for the XHB, ITB. A little bit on the weaker side, closing just below that trend line. Again, we need to see follow through on the downside for that to really mean anything. But again, kind of just holding that same area. VNQ actually showing a little bit of strength here, up almost 1%, still inside of that big reversal from Friday, but you had good volume here on this bounce. So VNQ getting a nice little lift, so showing a little bit of relative strength there. XLF down just 25 basis points, did make a new low, new daily chart lower low, but again, this showed a little bit of relative strength here towards the end of the day. JP Morgan did close positive. This had a nice little intraday pop there towards the end. The KRE, by the way, we just took half off, so that was another winner. That's 4 winners in 3 trading days, the month of September here. We were short KRE. This was against us for a little bit here. But again, the patience paid off. Beautiful engulfing reversal on the Jackson Hole event, and then covered right into this pivot here, which it got a nice bid off of, and you know, showed a little outside candle there into the close. So maybe some upside for fins here in the short term. But again, another winner, keeping it rocking and rolling. Guys, get in on this. It's absolutely killer. We're having a phenomenal year, by the way. But anyways, KRE getting a bounce off this level. You see the same thing really there with the KBE, broker dealers, which we often talk about. Just that 50 moving average probably gets a bounce here. It's trying to hold up there. Did make a daily chart lower low, but again, man, no support on this way up. No support on the way down either until really that 420, 422 area, but that 50 moving average kind of intersecting it. So it could get a little bit of a bid here in the short term. All right, let's shift gears to energy, crude here. A little bit of a soft showing. Again, I'm going to talk about this in a minute, though, when we get to gold. But, you know, down just 14 basis points here, 13 cents, whatever you call it. But with the dollar up as much as it was, and with yields up as much as they were, well, that's more relative to gold, I should say. The dollar up as much as it was. Crude actually scratching out a flat, you know, a flat day is not a sign of weakness. Good volume there. I do think it still has another push down, but this is starting to get really attractive. Again, that weekly bearish pattern here is starting to play out. I think we get one more dip here. It'll be time to get into crude. So just standing by for that one. XLE, a little bit on the softer side today, still holding that lower trend line. OIH and XOP, again, same kind of thing. Nothing really too new to add there. Nat gas, nice dump. So finally got down to that that $8 area. I did not pick this up. I probably should have. I'm probably going to kick myself tomorrow when it bounces. But this is a pretty forceful move here. So you got good volume, and there's velocity behind that. So this breaks through that area. This can get down to $7 pretty quickly. You got a little pivot right here on the daily. We'll see if this trend line holds tomorrow. See if we can get a bounce there. Let's take a look at this. I actually haven't looked at nat gas much. This is a pretty good sell here. So that's, yeah, a lot of this came in the last half of the day here, and then a nice dump there. Okay, well, I hope I'm not going to kick myself for not getting in on this, but nat gas, it should bounce at this area. You got that old trend line that we've been talking about. So right there, upsloping, and that's been a good area. And then you got the 50 and 100-day moving averages right in the zone. So this should get a bounce. And the $8 even number, 20-week moving average, I'm going to kick myself. This is going to go up tomorrow because I didn't buy it. But if this does break, this can go right to $7, maybe $6.50. So just be aware of that. If you do want to play this, go light on the position because this can rip your head off. They call it the Widowmaker for a reason. But nice little dump there on nat gas, down 8%. I do like this level. If you're aggressive, I'd no problem with you taking that long here just with a small position. Dollar, we talked about a little bit already. You know, it's through the 110 area. We're just looking for a reversal at this point. We get an engulfing reversal or a big topping candle, topping tail, shooting star type candle. Then we'll probably see a top in the dollar. But for now, it's hanging in there. So now, what I was going to say a minute ago on gold, dollar up, yields up, huge, huge. And everybody hates gold right now, but gold being down 60 basis points with a move like that in the dollar isn't bearish to me. GDX, you know, being down 35 cents isn't bearish. Silver being flat today, not really bearish to me. SILJ, you know, down 15 cents. Not, you know, it's not terrible. It's showing relative strength. And if you want to take a look, let's go even farther here. Let's look at the 10-year. 10-year is up. It's double. It's more than up 100% here, the 10-year yield this year. Meanwhile, gold's down, what, 5%? If that. Dollar index is, you know, up from 96 to, you know, it's up to 110 here. So that's what, like 20% or something like that. Yeah, almost 20% year to date, and gold's, you know, basically down a couple points. Meanwhile, the spiders are down like 20%. The Qs are down 20%. So gold is showing relative strength here. And I think a lot of people are missing that right now. And everybody really hates gold right now, which I understand. It's easy to hate it, but this is starting to get pretty attractive as a contrarian play, especially these miners. I've been talking about that as well. I do like silver down here. I think this is an accumulation zone for silver, anything between 16 and 18. And how about platinum today? I talked about the possibility for a W pattern. If we get up here, we, you know, get to that 875 level and put in a higher low, this thing will take off to the upside. Again, I am, full disclosure, I am long via PPLT, so you guys know that. But I really like platinum in this area. Palladium here kind of just holding on, not much of a pattern there. I mean, this has been sideways for months here, not too much to make out of it, but I do like platinum. Silver, these miners are getting attractive as well moving forward here. And again, they're showing lots of relative strength. By the way, platinum up 2.5% here today, with yields up 4.5% and the dollar up almost 75 basis points. So again, they're showing relative strength here. So let's definitely respect that. Copper also trying to put in a higher low here as well. So I got an area marked at this 340 area. So we kind of have like pivot, little pivot there, and it held that for now. Good volume there. So if this can put in a higher low, this can attack that 380 area again. So we'll continue to monitor that. All right, lastly, Bitcoin, you constantly, this is starting to turn into like a slow bleed scenario here with Bitcoin. It's, you know, we're not seeing those massive dramatic sell-offs right now, but you know, just inside bar after inside bar, really since late last year, ever since November, really, it's just been down, inside bar, the whole way down, and really getting hit hard again, down almost 5% on the day, trading near the lows. Ether still holding up better, but getting rejected at that 50-day moving average. And then, of course, Doge, Polkadot, Litecoin, XRP, everything getting hit today. So crypto, again, in a weak place, and it's starting to look more like a slow bleed here for the crypto space at really the near, long, and medium term. Anyways, let's get back over to the spider. So again, I think short term, there's still a really good amount of support here, weekly chart support especially, which is important. And, you know, again, I think we probably chop around here, maybe get some type of a bearish inside bar, some type of a pattern before the next leg lower. Again, bears are a little exhausted, if you ask me, but we're not really seeing much from the bulls either. We didn't see any follow through off of this little short covering rally this morning. So if you ask me, I think we're probably just going to chop around here and build a base and build a bear base for that next push down. Anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Thanks for watching. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.